rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, if you're seeing this, it's morning for you. For me, it is still Sunday. And by the time that you see this, I'll be on the road to an undisclosed location and won't be able to stream live possibly today, maybe tomorrow, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. If I do stream, it'll be from a completely different location than this right here. And no guarantees that my sound is going to be worth a damn. But we're going to give it a try and see if we can have a decent one for you tomorrow. But today, you get to enjoy this Monday. We're going to just have a little bit of fun, and it'll probably be showing up as a premiere for you. And also pay attention tonight, because I will have another stream for you tonight. It's going to be covering some what the hell stuff. So stay tuned for that. But why don't we just get fired up into this? We'll take a break a little bit halfway through it, because I know you're just wanting that damn beautiful, juicy cup of coffee. Just enjoy, be having a good morning. It is the last day of the month. You've got to enjoy the last day of the month, everybody. Here we go with the first story. You're not going to believe why the White House Correspondents' Dinner Association fired comedian hired for annual dinner. And the White House Correspondents Association will hold its annual dinner on April 26, as is customary. The association invited a noted comedian to roast current president and make fun of politicians from both sides. That's the way it used to be anyway. Past hosts included Bob Hope, Frank Sinatra, Milton Berle, George Carlin, George Burns, and among other old-timers. In 1964, the Smothers Brothers reportedly made Lyndon Johnson laugh so hard that he lost control of his bladder. The point here is that there was an effort to be even-handed in making fun of both parties. It was a prerequisite to being invited if you were a comic. And in recent years, that hasn't been the case, since at least 2006, when Stephen Colbert performed his right-wing parody character, and several of George Bush's staffers just up and walked out. The performances have left out making fun of the left and viciously attacked conservatives. Eugene Daniels, from the president of the WHCA, was excited about this year's invited comic.
For more than 100 years,
let's bring this thing up and see what he has to say.
The Correspondents Association dinner has become a Washington tradition since it began back all the way in 1921. The dinner was started by journalists who cover the White House, and it's known for its lighthearted moments. In recent years, the featured entertainer, usually a comedian, roasts the commander-in-chief and, well, basically everyone else in Washington, leading to some memorable moments and big laughs. And joining us now, White House correspondent for Politico, a co-author of the playbook, our friend Eugene Daniels. Eugene, also though.
Whoa. Okay. I've got to comment on this. I wasn't going to. Yeah, I'm definitely commenting on this. Okay, brother. Jerry Curl, long since gone. Like, what was it? 80s? Like late 80s, early 90s? Like, this was gone. Don't bring this back. Please, 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 for the love of car seats, do not bring that crap back. What in the ever-loving, is that a wig or no? No. Just no. I'm just saying no. No, here and now. It is no. Please, no. No. I hate that was one of the reasons I didn't ride the school bus in the 80s, because it was like an oil change on the back of your seat. It was disgusting. Please, please, for all that is holy, do not bring this back. Stay natural. Trust me. It's so much better for everything that's holy. Thank you. Thank you.
The president of the White House Correspondents Association, and Eugene, my friend, you've got some news to share with us.
Oh God, I thought that was a still. I didn't realize he was just staring at the camera. That's a little creepy. A little creepy, brother. Creepy.
This morning.
I do. We have an entertainer, and I'm so excited to announce that Amber Ruffin, the fabulous Amber Ruffin, will be joining us on April 26th.
Who's Amber Ruffin? I've never heard of Amber Ruffin. Okay, let me see. Amber Ruffin. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search on this, because I have no idea. Amber Ruffin. Amber Ruffin, American comedian and writer. Okay. She's an American comedian writer. She hosted her own late night talk show. Titled The Amber Ruffin Show on Peacock. She's been a writer for Late Night with Seth Meyers since 2014. I'm sorry, I don't have any clue who this person is. Amber Ruffin. I really don't. Not a damn clue. Oh, wait, this might be her. Okay. I still never heard of. I don't even know who this is.
Yay! And joining us right here.
And joining us here.
That's right. I'm joining everybody everywhere. Look to your left. I'm there.
I've never heard of Amber Ruffin. I mean, I guess thumbs up if you have and you follow this person. I mean, I'm just thinking, Bob Hope, Smothers Brothers. I mean, I remember whenever I was a kid, like watching some Smothers Brothers stuff, but I mean, I couldn't tell you all about him. Bob Hope, though, come on. George Carlin. I mean, these are like top performers. They must really be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Amber, congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
We'll be glad to see you there.
Yeah.
It is certainly a highlight of the Washington social calendar. That's a joke in itself. Because, but this time.
Okay, that's a weird laugh. All right.
I mean, Eugene, as you sat down, you say you have invited President Trump and the First Lady to attend. In his first term, he never did.
He didn't. He had 4 shots.
4 shots.
He missed them all.
Do you hope to see him there?
No.
For us at the association, it is.
Okay, now it's starting to bother me. It didn't bother me at first, but it's really starting to bother me. This cameraman hovering around. I just picture some little man, like with a camera running back and forth. I don't like it. I don't like it. Or of course, this is why MSNBC is failing so bad, is because of this. But yeah, weird. weird.
It is an important part of the
Stop
process
with
that
the
we invite
cameras.
the president, the first lady, and the press secretary to kind of join us up there on the dais. And we look forward.
Like right there. That's a perfect spot to have the camera. You get all the people, you're good.
To an answer. I know that they've received.
And then you got one that switches off to just him whenever he's talking, one that switches to each one, but this waving camera back and forth, this constant movement, it just is annoying.
Invitation. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. Honestly, this is a President Trump, as a reporter, that I know is feeling quite emboldened. DC feels a little different, I think, than it did his first go around. So we will see.
President Trump feels emboldened? No, I mean, how about he realizes that this is his last term and he maybe doesn't have time for the silliness? I mean, but he still has, I mean, he's, from what everybody said, he's got a hell of a sense of humor. But who in the hell is Amber? I've never heard of Amber Ruffin, whatever.
So Amber, what made you say yes?
I said yes because it's one of the coolest gigs a comedian can get.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, if you were well known. So who's Amber Ruffin? She hosts her own late night show on a streaming service, Peacock. That's probably another reason why I never heard. I don't watch that. And is a writer for Late Night with Seth Meyers, another thing that I don't watch. I don't know how this recommends her for prime comedic gig. That's my point there too. At any rate, Daniel should have done a little more research. Ruffin appeared on the Daily Beast podcast, immediately proved why she might be ready for an underground sex club, but not for the stage of the WHCA dinner. On Thursday, she sparked outrage when she said that she wouldn't try to make sure that her jokes targeted jokes targeted both sides of the political spectrum during her set, as she had been instructed to do so by White House Correspondents Association. She told the host, comedian Samantha Bee, and Beast chief content creator Joanne Coles that the Trump administration are kind of a bunch of murderers, adding that playing to both sides makes them feel like human beings and they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not. Charming. Well, let's just see what she says.
Well, maybe you could do that for the White House Correspondents. Just change it up this year.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, God. Okay, so will anyone from the administration be attending? How much do you actually know about who will be in attendance? Do you get, like, the rundown?
I'm sure that I will at some point.
You will.
I
Okay.
know the news organizations that will be
Yeah.
attending. I don't think the people confirm until quite a bit later. I don't necessarily, like, I'm not 100% interested in being like, ha, you're here, look at your stupid head, you're burned. I care, like, you're kind of a bunch of murderers.
Really? Yeah, maybe that kind of bias is what got her ass fired off of doing it.
I mean, so, like, they were like, you need to be, equal and make sure that that you give it to both sides and blah, blah, blah. I was like,
Yeah, that would be like prerequisite. And you have, that's the problem. There's a reason why the left can't meme on these things. It's because they don't get it. They have no self-reflection. You want to have a little bit of self-reflection. You can find the humor in the bullshit that your side says. I find humor in the bullshit my side says on all the damn time, even in myself. But apparently she's incapable of doing such.
there's no way I'm going to be freaking doing that, dude. Under no circumstances.
I
bet she's all upset now that they fired her. I bet that she's all upset now because of being fired from doing this.
when you as a performer, like when you have like a live performance that you're doing for the people who are there, and are you doing it more, it's for the cameras or it's for the people in the room? And how do you make, I don't know, is that just an organic process of figuring out
It's a
who
tough,
you're?
it's a tough room, right? It's a
It's
big room. It's
terrible room.
3,000 people in the Hilton Ballroom in Washington, which is
Yeah,
hard to
it's not
command.
tough.
And then you've got the audience, the television audience.
Yeah, it's never great to do both, especially in a bad environment like that. And they
Bad
say it's a bad
environment.
audience. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. They're certainly poorly mic'd for sure, times 1,000. Everyone I've talked to said it feels a lot better than it looks.
Okay. Well, maybe you should have taken some of their advice whenever they said cover it from both sides. You know, if you're going to roast everybody. That's the fun of those. That's what the fun has always been about those, to pointing out the flaws of your ideals. But oh no, she's going to double
Right.
down.
So that makes me feel hopeful. But also it's just a horrible room. It's a bad room for comedy. It's not great.
Right.
High ceilings.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Warm. That's the last thing you want. Thousands of people far back. It's not ideal, but I do think like there will be a like sense of what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Like it's bonkers that we're
Yeah.
still acting like things are normal. I don't know. We're all
No, we're trying to get back to things being normal, trying to get away from, chopping little parts off of children and, having men compete in women's sports, things that are normal.
all
Mm.
going on this roller coaster, right? Like you spend 5 minutes like, hey, we've had worse. Then you turn a corner and you're like, no, this is as bad as it will ever be. Nothing is this bad.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be on that roller coaster with you guys.
Is it? I mean, did they actually say to you that you need to go after both sides equally?
They said what they said is that they had been had people bring it up in the past how uneven the comedy was.
Because usually the comedy is directed at whoever is the president at the time. So even when you went to
No, not true. It's directed at everybody. That's what a comedian is really good at. That's why you don't find a whole lot of comedians that are on the left side of things. I mean, you find some, and some of them are really good. The ones that are really good, you'll see that they're able to find the humor on their perspective. They're able to understand that humor, whereas Gucci bag mama over here doesn't understand this because, well, if anybody makes fun of her, she breaks down in tears, and it's a social. Oh, you've disparaged me in front of somebody. You've made me look bad. Yeah, but this is the problem.
to the Obama White House Correspondents' Dinner, which he did attend, there were tons of jokes about him, and he was probably more aligned with the media than any other most recent president.
Yeah, I think it's just that burns on Trump hurt badly. And then it trickles down.
No, it doesn't. See, that's the thing is if you watch any of the other stuff that Trump has attended where comedians roast him, you also have to be able to take as good as you can get. And she's not able to give out anything good, so she's not going to get anything in return.
Down to everyone who's around him, because y'all also guilty. So
Y'all
I think
also
they
guilty.
got their feelings hurt, and they want that false equivalency.
But that's the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Do you think they're going to be partial to one side or another?
That the media does. They want that. It feels great. It makes them feel like human beings, but they
Yes.
shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
Some people are more culpable than others.
That's right.
And they
Oh, Jesus. Okay, enough of their garbage. Daniels tries to backtrack by changing the format for the dinner, nixing the comedic performance altogether. He wrote on Saturday email, the WHCH board has unanimously decided we are no longer featuring a comedic performance this year. He added that the event's focus is not on the politics, but of division. Politics of division, but on honoring the association's journalists. Budowich was unimpressed at Daniels' move. No accountability at WHCA, just a cop-out statement. Pathetic, Budowich wrote on X, attacked Daniels and adding it was so sad and such a storied and consequential group that's been so quickly driven into irrelevancy. Daniel claimed he was re-envisioning the dinner for a past couple of weeks. You wouldn't have to win a Pulitzer to know what kind of comedian Rufin was. She was invited in the first place was a travesty. The WHCA and the White House have been at war as Trump, like every president, seeks to shape news coverage. In February, the White House announced that WHCA would no longer be allowed to decide which journalists were assigned to cover the president on a given day. Oh, that's why they're salty. The White House itself now assigns reporters to the pool, which has raised concerns about the opportunity for the press to cover the administration without fear of retribution. Daniel said at the time that the decision tears at the independence of a free press in the United States. No, you're there because the president allows you to be there. See, that's the problem. You're still welcome to report on the president. You're still willing. You should be able to cover the news as with the president, but you have to understand that the president realized early on in his last term how bad. Well, later on in his last term, how bad you guys like to spin things out of control with untruths. And that becomes a big problem. Daniel said at the time of the decision, tears apart the free press. No. At the same month, Trump moved to exclude the Associated Press from press events after the International News Agency decided to stick with the name of the Gulf of Mexico rather than, as Trump has renamed it, the Gulf of America. Trump figured the media was going to go for the jugular anyway, so why pretend that anything he would do to replace them? Because they're going to try to spin things as far out of control as they possibly can. That's just the way that they do. And it gets worse and worse each time because they can't seem to understand. They can't seem to understand how they're constantly humiliated by this. And that brings me to the next story. Scott Jennings humiliates another CNN talking head. It should come as no surprise that mainstream media is still trying to turn Signalgate into the scandal of the century, proving once again that their Trump derangement syndrome knows no bounds. All we know at this point is that someone added Atlantic writer Jeffrey Goldberg to an encrypted chat about strikes against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. At this point, it's still not clear how that happened. Was it an accident? Did a rogue staffer intentionally add Goldberg to the chat to manufacture a scandal? Well, we don't know yet. On Friday evening, Lulu Garcia Navarro made a laughable attempt to convince viewers that the situation was somehow worse than Secretary Lloyd's Austin catastrophic failures as the one that left 13 American service members dead, or the time he went AWOL while his deputy lounged on vacation, cocktail in hand. With a straight face, she actually suggested that if this had happened under Biden administration, someone would have been held accountable. Oh, this is a Democrat or Democratic administration would foolishly, unconsciously created a group chat to have discussion about military operation was top secret. I think, Scott, you would have been the first person to call for those people's resignation. Then she insisted that accountability should not be a partisan issue. Accountability is actually something that normally happens with a well-functioning administration. She said, this isn't, cowboys and Indians and calling for scalps. This is actually what most people would think was if someone had behaved in a way that puts American lives at risk. They should be held accountable for it. Well, you don't have to make hypotheticals. Why don't we just watch it? What he has to say.
This isn't, cowboys and Indians and calling for scalps. This is actually what most people would think was if someone has behaved in a way that puts American lives at risk, they should be held accountable for it.
Scott, what's your response?
Laura, may I, since she addressed me, I'll answer it.
Please.
In a Democratic, you don't have to make up hypotheticals, Lulu, about if this happened in a Democratic administration. Let me take you back in time. In a Democratic administration, the Secretary of Defense oversaw a disastrous military operation in which 13 servicemen died in Afghanistan. Then, to try to make up for it, they vaporized like 7 children in a drone strike. Then later, the Secretary of Defense went AWOL and didn't even tell the commander-in-chief.
This is a completely
You don't
different
have to
thing
come
that
up
you're.
with a hypothetical,
These are two
Lulu,
different things that you're
because
discussing.
the bar
And I can take
apparently
you
is
back in
very
time,
high,
Scott, and I
very
can
high
talk
for
about the Iraq
dismissing a
War.
Secretary of Defense.
I don't want your words
Scott,
to
we
fall
can-
on.
we
Yeah. You know, she couldn't handle that truth being slammed on her. She could not handle that whatsoever. As soon as he called her out on it, she had to interrupt. Oh, the will of you doing this.
Ears
do
that
this as
cannot
much
hear
as you
you.
like.
Lulu, what's your reaction?
My reaction is, it's not the same thing.
Lulu, you're a dumbass.
I can take you back in time and talk about the Iraq
You're
War.
right, because people
There are
died.
different things
People
that
died in the
make.
last
There
case
are
and not in
people
this
make
case.
mistakes. This was using an unsecure method of discussion by.
Yeah, see, this is the narrative they've been trying to push out there, and the problem is it's falling short because no classified information was released at all, and Scott, whatever his name is, got his ass handed to him on it.
The top members of this administration to discuss
The
top
top.
secret.
But what was top secret? He's released all that happened on that, and there was nothing in there that was top secret.
A top secret and
Who
very
died? In which
important
case did people die?
military
In which
I would
case
like
did
to
people
hear
die?
her
This
finish
is
her
not the
point,
same
Scott.
This
Well,
is
she wouldn't let him finish, so why should he let her finish? Now let's get real for a moment. She's right. They are different situations. What happened under Lloyd Austin's watch was so much worse. The incompetence of the Biden administration not only resulted in the deaths of 13 U.S. service members, but also the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban, who now had access to billions of dollars of U.S. military equipment and money that was left behind by Joe Biden. Yet Garcia Navarro wants us to believe that Signalgate is worse. Remember, no location information was shared with the Signal chat. The information wasn't leaked before the operations, but apparently in Garcia Navarro's twisted logic, an accidental chat invitation is more serious than actual American casualties in the fall of the entire country to the enemy. The bottom line, this whole Signalgate controversy is nothing more than a desperate attempt by the left media to distract from the real leadership failures that we've seen under the previous administration. It's time to call it for what it is. Fake news designed to undermine Trump's successful presidency. But they're not going to have it anymore because, leftists still have to find a way to go after Pete Hegseth. They find a new reason to get enraged at Hegseth. Well, isn't that wonderful? It's clear from the Signal non-scandal that the leftist establishment finds Pete Hegseth deeply threatening and wants him gone. And now it isn't just Signal, leftists and their pro-jihad allies who have found new reasons to vet their rage at Hegseth. And it's about as consequential as a mountain of leftists are making about the Signal molehill. It turns out that Hegseth has a tattoo on his right arm that says kafir, or unbeliever in Arabic, and that is apparently a tremendous insult to Islam and all decent people. Yes, you're right. They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel now. Nonetheless, Newsweek scraped away as energetically as it could, reporting Thursday Hegseth has ignited controversy after revealing a previously unnoticed tattoo on his right forearm that reads kafir in Arabic, a word that translates to infidel or non-believer. Note how Newsweek frames the supposed controversy. Hegseth ignited it, although he didn't do anything but get photographed in a short-sleeved shirt that revealed the tattoo. He didn't say anything about the tattoo or even call attention to it in any way, but since leftists hate him, it's ignited that controversy. Well, Hegseth tattoos are drawing criticism, USA Today client chimed in for what some say is a sign of hostility against Muslims. The far-left propaganda rag quoted Nihad Awad of Hamas-linked Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, who was in fine froth, fulminating against Hegseth with all the venom of a man who is a true believer in an armchair psychologist, tattooing the Arabic word kafir, which essentially refers to a person who knowingly conceals or denies fundamental divine truths on his body as a sign of both anti-Muslim hostility and personal insecurity. no content to smear Hegseth as some kind of nut, Awad, who notoriously said on October 7th, Hamas massacre of 1,200 Israelis that made him happy, added, it appears Islam lives so rent-free in Pete Hegseth's head that he feels the need to stamp himself with tattoos, declaring his opposition to Islam alongside a tattoo declaring his affinity for the failed crusaders who committed genocidal acts of violence against Jews, the Muslims, and even fellow Christians centuries ago. You don't see American Muslims running around with tattoos declaring their opposition to Christianity because we are secure in our own faith. We respect the beliefs of our neighbors. In any case, most Muslims do not wear tattoos for religious reasons. Well, but they do tend to wear. Never mind. You will likely not be surprised to discover that the beloved Awad is not being quite honest here. The irony is that he claims that Muslims are secure in their own faith and would never wear tattoos declaring their opposition to people of another faith. One of the central preoccupations of Islam is the evil of those who don't believe in it. For many years, when I spoke to hostile audiences, example, college, university campuses around the country, I would often challenge those who were touting the peacefulness and tolerance of Islam to find one page of the Quran, any page, that didn't contain a furious denunciation of unbelievers. Well, no one ever succeeded in doing so because there are no such pages. The Moroccan ex-Muslim brother Rashid pointed out another problem with Awad's raged Hegseth. The executive director of CARE claims that getting a kafir tattoo is disrespectful to Muslim, but Islam refers to Christians and Jews as kafirs in both the Quran and Hadith. Isn't that disrespectful? Yet, if someone gets the same term as a tattoo, it becomes disrespectful. I mean, it was an excellent point. Hegseth is a Christian. The Quran says that those who believe in the divinity of Christ are unbelievers. They indeed have disbelieved kafara, a plural form of kafir, who say, indeed, Allah is the Messiah, son of Mary, say, who then can you do anything against Allah? If he had willed to destroy the Messiah, son of Mary, and his mother and everyone on earth, to Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens on earth and all this in between them. He creates what he wills, and Allah is able to do all things. And that's from the Quran. It also says, and the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, and the Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. And that is their saying with their mouths. They imitate the statements of those who disbelieve. Kafur, before, may Allah curse them. How perverse they are. So what is leftist media allies are excoriating Hegseth for calling himself something that the Quran itself calls him, claiming that when he takes his Quranic word upon himself, he is somehow insulting Islam and Muslims. Yeah, that is part of it, but the signal chat, and this is all they've got. All this shows is how deeply threatened the left is and just how much all of that is failing. Well, it's not failing as much as this next one. Yeah, this next one's a pretty spicy one, I would say myself. It is pretty interesting that the DC media, they have doubled down on the crazy. It has just been revealed that not long ago, after President Trump returned to the Oval Office, the Democrat, or DNC, held a major strategy meeting of people who aspire to become the next leader of the DNC in order to figure out what to do next. Trump, of course, hit the ground running, decisively seizing the initiative and quickly moving to implement his agenda. The Dems, after having been thoroughly shellacked in the November election, might have taken the opportunity to draw back from the cliff's edge just a little bit, get away from the cliff, do a bit of soul searching, and decide that being the party of deluded and perverted blue-haired Marxists might not really be the best approach. Instead, the up-and-coming party top dogs decided to double down thoroughly and unapologetically on exactly the aspects of their message and approach that have made their party so unappealing. Even far-left Politico was appalled in an expose on the meeting that was published Friday. Politico stated frankly that the Democrats have become the parody of themselves, likening a moment early in the meeting when one DNC leadership candidate broke into a song, a scene from Portlandia, a comedy satirizing ultra-liberals, and it was a punchline that was clipped and replayed across social media in the days ahead. Things only got more surreal and more viral from there. The next generation of DNC leaders shows no sign of having learned a single thing from the last election. They inadvertently showcase the party's self-absorbed tendencies that strategists argue have driven away swing voters. By turns, fixating on identity politics, displaying scorn for large swaths of the electorate, and failing to focus on the pocketbook concerns of the ordinary American. They never even came close to the topic of whether Camel Toe had not run a perfect campaign. They ignored the open border, skyrocketing inflation, and all the other issues that made voters want to throw the Dems out in the first place. The establishment media, in the form of MSNBC's John Capehart, was there to crack the whip and make sure that all of the leadership candidates demonstrated the requisite ideological purity. At one point, he asked them, "How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat?" Well, each candidate raised his or her or Z's hand. Upon Capehart passed an opportunity to call them all crazy and tell them that they needed to remove their ideological blinkers. Instead, he stated magisterially, "That's good. You all pass." At some other point, one DNC member asked the candidates, "Will you pledge to appoint more than one transgender person to an at-large seat?" 7 of the 8 candidates readily affirmed that they would do so, and the 8th thereby doomed his candidacy to failure. Politico noted with increasing annoyance the candidates' refusal also to examine the real reasons why Donald Trump remains so popular with so many Americans. In response to the stunning start of Trump's second term, the Democrats campaigning to take the helm of the party hewed to a familiar message, describing the president as a fascist who exposed white supremacist conspiracies. Instead of offering a meaningful plan to confront such danger, critics said, they doubled down on appealing to the faculty lounge seat set. So there we are again. The Democrats have moved an inch since Hillary Clinton's termed Trump's supporters a basket of deplorables, except maybe to slide even further into delusion. After all, being deplorable is bad, but being a fascist white supremacist is far, far worse. Telling half the country's population that they're evil people is hardly a winning strategy, and Politico climbed up on the ledge of its own, despondently surveying the DNC leadership candidates and alleging that the spectacle appalled many die-in-the-wool Democrats and deepened the sense that party leaders were not up for the moment. It even quoted an anonymous Democratic strategist saying, "I don't know if Dems realize how effed they are, that they are now as a brand." It was a bunch of people politely discussing how many deck chairs on the Titanic should be reserved for transgender people. It's a perfect description of today's Democrat Party. The self-appointed party of the working man has become the party of the man who thinks he is a woman, the party of those who believe that the government should confiscate ever more of Americans' hard-earned wealth, the party of authoritarian restrictions upon the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, Second Amendment. This is not a winning message. As long as the Dems cling to it, they're not going to win. And if they manage to win anyway, it is by some chicanery. Good help all of us. And I'm going to give you guys just a short break. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee. You know, it's that time whenever you're going to get something from me. I'll just give you guys a dance. See you in 3 minutes, 11 seconds. Here we go.
Time to shine. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are got jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. My shoulders pop like a rusty hinge. My fingers point like they're on a binge. Twirl like a tornado, then drop real low. It's not planned, it's a shit sideshow. I've got the rhythm of a clock that's broke. My dance floor moves are a big effing joke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Rig like a lava lamp, mesmerizing glow. You can't help but watch me steal the show. I summon the shake, the shimmy, the twist, a mix of genius and a big old fist. You're drawn in close, your feet start to twitch, feeling the groove like a broke ass bitch. Yeah, shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Now we're all in the shake, no need to be shy. Move like spaghetti and reach for the sky. We'll dance like we're cursed, laugh till we're sore. Shizzy whiz nut reigns forevermore. So join the dance, let your weirdness unfurl. We're shaking ass, not a care in the world.
Well, that being said, the New York Times drops a massive truth bomb on the Democrats. Written by Matt Margolis. The New York Times editorial board just discovered what conservatives have been saying for years. The Democrat Party is completely out of touch with everyday Americans. It's a stunning rebuke from a paper that typically carries the water for Dems. The Times finally admitted the obvious Democrats' obsession with identity politics and the scolding, censorious posture have driven voters straight into the Republicans' arms. In the aftermath of this comprehensive defeat, many party leaders have decided that they do not need to make significant changes to their policies or their message, the editorial board writes. They've instead settled on a convenient explanation for their plight. They then point out that Democrats are in denial about their electoral struggles, clinging to the idea that they are merely victims of post-pandemic inflation and poor messaging rather than deeper political failures. Party leaders insist their policies are popular, but that voter apathy, rather than a genuine shift towards Trump, led to their losses. DNC Chairman Ken Martin claims Democrats simply need to connect their message better, while Minnesota Governor Tim Walz dismisses the idea of winning over Trump voters, instead focusing on mobilizing those who stayed home. As comforting as these explanations may feel to Democrats, they are a form of denial that will make it harder for the Democrat Party to win any future elections they want. Well, meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and AOC are doubling down on socialism with their fighting oligarchy tour because nothing says we've learned our lesson like pushing failed far-left policies that voters already rejected. When the numbers don't lie, a measly 27% of Americans view the Democrat Party favorably. It's worst showing in decades. They lost everything in 2024. The White House, the House, the Senate, and most state-level races. But are they doing any soul searching? Well, of course not. We're at that point now where more people vote the better Republicans do, David Shore, Democrat data scientist, said recently. That quote has to sting for a party that spent years claiming voter suppression was behind their losses. Turns out when more Americans vote, they tend to vote Republican. The editorial board suggests that the party should own up to the fact that they mishandled the issues of Biden's obvious cognitive decline during the campaign. Obviously, the paper doesn't acknowledge their own role in giving cover to Joe Biden, but let's table that for the moment because here's the important part of the article. Second, Democrats should recognize that the party moved too far left on social issues after Barack left office in 2017. The old video clips of Miss Harris that the Trump campaign gleefully replayed last year on decriminalizing the border and the government-funded gender transition surgery for prisoners highlighted the problem. Yes, she tried to abandon these stances before the election, but she never spoke forthrightly to voters and acknowledged she had changed her position. She never spoke forthrightly to voters ever. It was all one big freaking concert. If you're having a concert at every place that you go just to get people to turn out and then you can't even fill the bleachers, that goes to show that maybe your message has become quite clear. Your stance hasn't changed. It's just grown more funds. Even today, the party remains too focused on personal identity and Americans' differences by race, gender, sexuality, and religion rather than our shared values. What, like first, second, third, fourth, 19, all the amendments on these issues, progressives sometimes adopt a scolding, censorious posture. It is worth emphasizing that this posture is alienating growing numbers of Asian, Black, Latino, white, everybody. Working class, poor. Democrats who won last year in places where Mr. Trump also won, such as Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona and Senator Lisa Slotkin of Michigan, adopted a more moderate tone. Don't hold your breath waiting for that to happen. Without identity politics, what do Democrats even have? You strip that away, and all that's left is a pile of failed policies in a party with nothing to fall back on. No distractions, no scapegoats, no emotional manipulation to cover for their incompetence. The only playbook they know. It's the only playbook they know, and without it, they are completely exposed. And to highlight that, can we stop this this third term nonsense? If Trump wants to be great, he needs to walk away. Also by Scott Pinsker. It's not entirely clear if he was real or fictional. Most historians believe he was probably real, but it's tricky to verify. The legend of Lucius Seneca was enthusiastically told as in Titus Livius's book, The History of Rome, which was written a few decades before Christ. Unquestionably, Livius's book included real, verifiable historic events, but it also included the mythology of the Trojan War and the tales of magical twins suckled by a she-wolf. But the legend of Lucius Cincinnatus, still endures. He's even the namesake of an American city in Southwest Ohio. And his story continues to influence kings, queens, emperors, and yes, even U.S. presidents. According to his legend, somewhere around 500 BC, Cincinnatus had retired from public service, preferring the simple life of farming. In his youth, he had ruled Rome as a dictator, but that was many years ago. His time was over, or so he thought. Because as fate would have it, Rome's enemies were on the rise. The Aquae were ancient, warlike people, according to Roman writers. They preceded the founding of Rome and had been causing trouble since time immemorial. Livius wrote that the Roman rites for declaring war were actually borrowed from Aquae warriors. Meanwhile, Rome was a chaotic toga-wearing mess. There were families, slave revolts, and the temples of the gods were hijacked by rabble-rousers. Consul Publius Valerius Papalicala was killed in such an uprising in 460 BC. So the Romans traversed to Cincinnatus. He was working with his plow on his family farm, content, happy, and perfectly at peace, and Rome needs you. Trading his plow for his sword, Cincinnatus heeded his country's call. He returned to power as their dictator, leading the Romans in the Battle of Mount Agilus. I'm probably saying all these names wrong. My Latin is horrible. It was a battle that Rome was expected to lose. Instead, it became one of her greatest victories. Cincinnatus arrived with a makeshift army and just enough provisions for 5 days, but included amongst his men were brickmakers and builders. For one solid day, they did nothing but build a wall around their enemy, and then they attacked. The Quae were routed. Cincinnatus resigned from the dictatorship, returned to his farm. He served only 16 days. It was the ultimate power move. Because he had the strength of character to forego power, to walk away when the time was right, Cincinnatus had been immortalized as a hero. Twice he was granted unlimited power. Twice he held on to his power not a day longer than necessary. And this brings us to another two-time leader, Donald J. Trump. He's been outside chatter of Trump serving for there's been outside chatter of Trump serving for a third term. It's mostly tongue-in-cheek, with Trump teasing a bit. Let's just see what he says.
I don't know how anybody could even vote for the other side. In many cases, they don't, but they do get credit for it. You'll have to think about that. I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again, Mike? I better not get you involved in that argument.
God.
No, we raised a lot of money, a tremendous amount, and our teletown halls are something that's very special that nobody else is able to even contemplate using. We've gotten a lot of people elected with those teletown halls.
About 60% of Americans know when Trump is pulling their leg, and well, that's the advantage of being on the public eye for 40 years. The audience has a pretty good feel for who you are and who you aren't. So when Trump jokes about a third term, his audience, they absolutely do laugh with him. But the other 40%, they are terrified. And there's an emerging subset of MAGA true believers who are taking it seriously too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an audience overlap amongst ex-QAnon disciples and third-term seekers. A very weird article appeared yesterday, revealed how Trump could be the president until 2037 due to a simple loophole in the Constitution. Here's some of the excerpts. In fact, the path for Trump to serve a third term and potentially a fourth until January 2037, when he would be aged 90, is not impossible. It's simple thanks to a glaring loophole in the amendment. The idea of exploiting this loophole has long since been percolating in academic circles, behind the scenes in Congress and the White House, recently among Trump's most fervent supporters. Carrying it out would not require an army of lawyers to perform an arcane legal acrobatics in the Constitution. Instead, the move would hinge merely on the interpretation of one word: election. In the 22nd Amendment, the loyalty of one man, Vance. It would also require Trump to have enough popular support to win for a third term at the ballot box. The loophole in the 22nd Amendment is set out in a 1999 Minnesota Law Review article co-authored by Professor Bruce Peabody entitled "The Twice and Future President." It outlines how the amendment has been subject to widespread misunderstanding, and concludes that the idea any twice elected president is constitutionally prohibited from serving again is decidedly incorrect. According to the paper, we contend that the 22nd Amendment prescribes only the reelection of the already twice elected president. The key phrase in the amendment is, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice." It is argued that means a twice elected president would not be barred from later reassuming the office due to the resignation or death of another president. Trump could therefore run for vice president with Vance as an openly recognized nominal figure on the top of the ticket. Once he's sworn in, Vance could resign, allowing his vice president, Trump, to step into office. The same procedure could be used in multiple elections. To win a fourth term, Trump would simply have to resign the presidency before 2032 election and become the running mate of a nominal presidential candidate, be that Vance or someone else. And Trump does enjoy teasing the establishment. To me, his kind of sort of hinting at the possibilities of a third presidential term is the equivalent of a pro wrestler working the crowd, getting some cheap heat from his supporters and detractors. Why does he do it? Because it's fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. But the more Trump talks about it, the less funny the joke gets. Besides, Trump is a realist. He's a 78-year-old guy. Nobody lives forever. And even if Trump is a once in a millennia genetic marvel who's still sucking down Big Macs and slurping 17 cans of Diet Coke when he's 105, it's still a dangerous precedent for an American president to set. The 22nd Amendment wasn't enacted because FDR was evil. It was enacted because the next FDR might be, and we just can't take that risk. More than any other president in any of my lifetime, Trump cares deeply about public perception. He thinks about it. He's aware of its importance. Well, the ultimate manifestation of public perception is his legacy, how he's remembered in history. Exploiting legal loopholes until you die in office is a lousy political legacy, and it's been done. Desperately cling to power until the reaper steals your soul is practically a cliche. By comparison, there have been precious few men like Cincinnatus. During the Revolutionary War, an American painter named Benjamin West was commissioned by King George III to be the historical painter to the king. West painted about 60 beautiful pictures, including the royal family's official portraits, and during these sessions, the two men would talk. One time, King George III asked West what George Washington would do if the American colonies actually prevailed. West told the king that he suspected Washington would relinquish power and return to his farm, just like you know who. If he does that, sighed King George III, he will be the greatest man in the world. Now that is a legacy worthy of a Trump. Speaking of Trump, we've got Ivanka was Trump's most trusted advisor. Really? Most trusted advisor? I don't know. Today, that's Don Jr., and that's changed everything. Ivanka is Donald Trump's biggest supporter, most trusted advisor, gushed One Woman's Magazine in 2017. By all accounts, nobody else in the Trump administration had the president's ear more than his first daughter, Ivanka. Along with her husband, real estate mogul Jared Kushner, Ivanka was the ultimate power behind the MAGA throne. Indeed, she was even described as her father's eyes and ears. During the first term, Ivanka and Jared had their paws all over the inner workings of the federal government. Her hubby spearheaded an attempt to eliminate government waste, telling the Washington Post we should have excellence in government. The government should be run like a great American company. Our hope is that we can achieve success and efficiencies for our customers, who are the citizens. And Jared was so successful that 8 years later, Elon Musk had to go back and do it for real. Still, the Ivanka Jared fingerprints were real. Steve Bannon was fired and cried when he went against him. They even outranked the Secretary of State, functioning de facto as America's top diplomats. They were everywhere. Not anymore. They're gone. And instead, it's a different first child who's now in line has the first line to the president. This first child isn't drop dead gorgeous like Ivanka. When he enters a room, jaws aren't dropping, nor is every eyeball instantly drawn in. Ivanka was a natural born superstar. She had that undefinable yet utterly undeniable it factor. Her smile and magnetism could light up the room, and for optics, the inclusion of such a photogenic young woman in the Trump White House served a valuable PR purpose. This first child lacks all of that, but what he has in its place are authentic conservative instincts, passions, and firsthand knowledge that can only be gained by actually doing the grunt work. He's crisscrossed the country. He's written books. He's traveled extensively, campaigning and promoting pro-MAGA policies. He's the one who pushed for J.D. Vance to be Trump's vice president. One outlet described him as Vance's close friend and unabashed supporter. Of all the differences between the first two Trump terms, the biggest difference is in the personnel. We've gone from milquetoast Mike Pence to firebrand J.D. Vance. Could you even imagine Pence calling out Zelensky on his rudeness? Well, I can't. Pence would have saluted Zelensky and refilled his coffee mug. Suddenly, the future of the MAGA movement is in a much different place. Well, that's because we've also gone from Ivanka Trump to Donald Trump Jr. I think he's overlooked because of his name. Jr. sounds dismissive and diminutive. It's always weird when a grown man voluntarily refers to himself as Junior. Him, I'm Junior. Me, yeah, I bet you are. If if he were named Donald Trump II, he'd sound more impressive. Like here's the sequel, new and improved. Don't roll your eyes. Names are important. Why do you think George Bush W went by W instead of Jr.? These personnel changes weren't just cosmetic. They were substantive and deliberate. Trump's first term was dominated by names including Mike Pence, Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Rex Tillerson, Nikki Haley, Reese Priebus. Today, the names are J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, Elon Musk, and Don Trump Jr. It's a different attitude, too. When ex-Fox News journalist Diana Falzone broke a blockbuster news story earlier this month, there were lots of ways for the first son to throw salt on the story. For disclosure, I haven't spoken to Ms. Falzone in several years, but we've collaborated on dozens of different stories for Fox News and Vanity Fair. Always found her to be fair and professional. If Falzone's article had been about Ivanka considering a presidential bid, you could easily imagine how she'd issue her disavowal. Ivanka would sadly shake her head, saying that she's flattered by all the attention, but golly gee, she doesn't want to be a professional politician, and she looked gorgeous all the while. No biggie. That's not the Don Trump Jr. approach. Check out his rebuttal to Falzone, because it could only be described as Trumpian. I accurately predicted that my buddy JD would be an instant power player in national GOP politics. So your theory is that I worked my ass off to help get him VP nomination because I want to run for president in 2028. Are you effing retard? I'm actually glad you're printing this BS, though, because at least now the rest of the press corps will see how shitty your sources are and how easily you're played by them. Congratulations, moron. Now that's a rebuttal. Could you even imagine Ivanka or Jared speaking like that? It's a different tone and with a far different ethos than before. That's because it's a different first child whispering in the president's ear. And speaking of bad columnists, you have Caitlin Collins, which really likes to get verbally spanked. And whenever I say verbally spanked, I mean like religiously verbally spanked. You know, if I were a better person, I would feel bad for the leftists who keep beating their empty heads against the wall in their attempts to derail President Trump's agenda. But then again, the mere fact that I think about feeling bad for them makes me a better person than any of them are. My powers of rationalization never stop growing. Not only do I not feel bad, but I'm deriving pleasure from watching the Democrats and their flying monkeys in the mainstream media flail while employing the same tired playbook that should have been thrown out after last year's election. This line from a co-host of his VIP column applies to the subject of this one as well. Leftists in the media still think that the mere repetition of a lie will make the great unwashed believe it. That could also read the mere repetition of their talking points, since all of them are lies. This isn't just about CNN's Caitlin Collins, but all about the idiots in the mainstream media who mindlessly and reflexively belch questions that are fed to them by their overlords at the DNC. Ms. Collins just happens to be the idiot du jour, or idiot of the day, or how you say it, of the week in French. Of late, Collins has been taking the heat away from CBS's Margaret Brennan, who recently spent a good 6 weeks stepping on every rake she could find when interviewing members of the Trump 47 administration. The temptation to throw in some snark about DEI here is present, but we all know that the men in the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party are as dishonest and intellectual free as the women when it comes to stupidity. The media leftists have truly achieved their diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Whatever the dutiful DNC lapdog or girl, Caitlin is making sure she grills every Republican she runs into this week about the Signal group chat thing, which the Dems will eventually realize isn't the silver bullet that they seem to think that it is. On Wednesday, Matt wrote a post about Collins trying to steamroll White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt with questions about the issue. The exchange ended with a delightfully brutal, well, to Dems, Leavitt looking to the next questioner and saying, "Caitlin, I'm not taking your follow-up." Another exchange in which Collins attempted the same line of BS questioning with the VA head Doug Collins, no relation to Caitlin or Phil, ended just as fruitlessly. Let's check that out.
Do you believe that a mistake was made here, though, to have this conversation, to add a reporter, and to have it on an unsupported, classified group setting?
Caitlin, as I've just told you, I've just answered the question. I wasn't part of it. And, I'm not going to speculate more than what the president's already talked about and those who've been involved have talked about. But we'd love to talk about the veterans.
Yeah, and I do have questions about the veterans, but given what we saw with the group chat and how this was used, you are a member of the cabinet.
Still
you obviously
not
know
getting it,
these
is
other
she?
members, several of them who were in there. Is this typical for the cabinet to have conversations over Signal? Is this something that you use?
All right. Well, Caitlin, since you undoubtedly do not want to talk about the VA, I have a question as VA Secretary. As Cabinet, I want to ask you, because I've been curious about this, because my job is to take care of veterans, and I would like to know why CNN is hostile to veterans, especially one in Florida, where you just had a $5 million defamation suit taking offense at a veteran who was trying to help people. In fact, one of your employees actually said, we're going to nail him. I have a question for you, Caitlin. Is that employee still employed? Are you really concerned about veterans? So if we don't want to talk about veterans now, you want to talk about everything else, I'd like to hear from CNN as the veteran cabinet secretary, why CNN seems to have a problem with veterans.
Well, Mr. Secretary, respectfully, my question was about whether or not you as a member of the cabinet use this. And respectfully, I'm conducting the investigation. And I do have a lot of questions for you on Veterans Affairs, but I don't think it would be unwarranted.
And this is the problem with a lot of these journalists, is they're wanting to get a narrative, or they have their narrative, their talking point. As sometime this next month or so, I'll probably be sharing some issues with a journalist. That they don't listen. They don't pay attention to the answer. They get the answer, but it's not the answer they wanted. So then they continue harping on the same question, and the answer doesn't change. And at some point, you have to do exactly what he's saying right here is no, it's time for me to ask you a question, seeing that you don't care talking about veterans. Why don't we talk about something that's not veterans? Because this Signal thing has nothing to do with it.
What you want to do is talk about a subject that I've already answered. And if you want to continue this like this, that's fine. But there are VA employees who are working very hard. There are veterans who get their care from the VA and they get their benefits from the VA. And it does me no good to speculate on something that I've already asked and answered. So I've asked and answered your question. Why don't you answer mine? Is this person still employed who said they were going to nail one of my veterans, who you had to do a $5 million award from a jury because of defamation, and then you settled the case? Answer my question.
Respectfully, sir, I'm asking the questions here, and I have no involvement in referencing there.
She hasn't been respectful at all. Like completely disrespectful to his time and to his answer. There's just a couple of examples from this week, and we've all been writing about Caitlin Collins for a while now. We're hearing about her more because Trump is back in office and she never passes up an opportunity to prove what an embarrassment she is. I'm sure he'll keep having plenty of opportunities to write about Caitlin Collins, Margaret Brennan, and the rest of the single brain cell collective, because none of them are going to let up on the gas in this stupid mobile. They're all toxic combination of shamelessness and inability to be embarrassed. I am getting used to the fact that Trump has assembled a team that, to a man and a child, can't handle the hostile mainstream media attack dogs with the greatest of ease. In all my years of activism and in the media, I've never seen anything like it. The administration should be working on a training guide to teach Republican candidates how to handle a press corps that will always hate them. A media boot camp, if you must. Because I could watch this kind of stuff for years. Thank you very much, PJ Media senior columnist and editor Stephen Cruzier. He is a professional stand-up comic, writer, and recovering political activist. Go check out he's got a channel also, and he does talk about these things. But you also have to remember this one. The woman who face-planted trying to steal a MAGA hat on a New York City subway has been identified. Over a week ago, video surfaced of a crazed white liberal woman on a New York subway completely melting down over a non-white Trump supporter wearing a MAGA hat. The footage captured her aggressively harassing the young man, causing a scene and branding him as a racist for no reason other than his choice of headwear. And the best part, she ended up humiliating herself in the process when she chased after him off the subway and wound up face planting on the platform. Well, that woman has been identified. According to a report from the New York Post, she's an increasingly agitated creative director for several luxury brands. Alberta Testorano, a 55-year-old dual Italian-American citizen, went viral for the caught-on-video incident on the 6 train in Midtown last week after branding the MAGA fan uneducated and racist. Testorano has gone off the deep end when it comes to politics, a former colleague claimed. She and I stopped being friends a while ago as she became extremely liberal and very agitated, the one-time coworker told the Post. I see nothing has changed, but now she's gotten into the extreme, doing things like this, the co-worker said of the subway incident, adding that Testorano was known to argue with Republicans and frequently call out people she deemed racist. The freelance creative director branding specialist who has worked with posh outfits like Tiffany and Company, Coach Bergendorf, Bergdorf, Goodman, and Kate Spade, Testorano prides herself on maintaining the highest standards according to her online profiles. Testorano, or a Fashion Institute technology alum and Murray Hill resident, describes herself on LinkedIn as an experienced team leader who bridges corporate strategy and creative vision. She claims to approach every project with enthusiasm while upholding brand standards on what appears to be her Facebook account. She shared a family photo of the Obamas and an odd image of Joe and Barack friendship bracelets. Cute. According to the New York Post, the video of her on the subway has accumulated over 5 million views. The video shows Testorano instigating the confrontation, convinced that her race somehow gave her the authority to police what political views a person of color is allowed to hold. That's why we won. Because of people like you, the man off Comper had shouted at her. You're okay with that? Testorano snapped before pointing at the kid with the hat and declaring he's a racist. Let's just watch.
That's why he won. People like you. That's why he won. That is why he won, because of people like you who need to stop it. Let him live.
Bro, just like, bro, chill, bro.
You're okay with that? He's a racist. I'm so okay.
How can I be racist?
He's a racist. Okay with it. If you fucking voted for Trump, you're racist. He's a racist.
How can I be racist?
No, he's not. Leave him alone. Doesn't watch the news. You realize he wants to be Democratic.
I'm highly educated.
Oh, are you? Then why are you wearing that hat? Everything's been going up for I don't know how long. The Democrats been running.
Ah, lady, really?
Since who knows how long? But then Trump comes in and just fixes it.
Alright, well, this is my stop. I hope you enjoy the hat.
Oh, she took a tackle. She just.
And then they flipped her off. That's even better. According to the Post, Testorano did not respond to inquiries and refused to comment when the Post showed up at her Madison Avenue apartment building Friday morning, telling the doorman to just turn the journalists away. I really wonder how this will impact her career. Well, hopefully it impacts her career in the most glorious way that she deserves. Going after someone that looks to be half her age and chasing them down is never a good look. Because you disagree with them politically doesn't mean you should ever attack somebody. You should just move on with your day and not try to change everybody's mind, because you know their minds aren't going to be able to be changed with this kind of attitude. I mean, this is the problem that you run into with a lot of these leftists. They want to call you racist, homophobic, transphobic, or whatever phobia they can come up with. You realize, without ever realizing that this is not a thing, except in their own twisted minds, that most people that voted for Trump voted for the policies, not just the person. I mean, he had the star power, but I can honestly say that I've never watched a single episode of whatever Trump's TV thing was. I think it was like The Apprentice or something like that. I never watched a single one of those. They didn't matter to me. That it was drama that it just didn't really appeal to me. It wasn't my shtick. I didn't find those enjoyable. I'm sure other people might have. That's maybe what made him so popular. Up until the point that he was running for president, I'd never really paid a whole lot of attention to him other than, yeah, he's some, rich guy that wrote a pretty cool book that I read and, about I don't even remember what it was. It was something about how to make money. Is one of those kind of books. And I mean, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. That's interesting perspective on things. If you want to do big, you have to think big, you have to act big, and big things happen. That was pretty much to my extent of really, noticing Trump. But then again, other people I think are just angered by it. Maybe, possibly, that's all I can figure out is that they're just completely angered by it. Speaking of being angered by, there is a bombshell claim NBC has proof that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't delete Kennedy. Astonishing allegations have surfaced regarding a never-before-seen NBC video that could upend the official narrative of the JFK assassination. Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna dropped the bombshell on Jesse Waters' primetime on Fox News, revealing that a tape purportedly shows Lee Harvey Oswald near the vehicle JFK was riding in that fateful day in Dallas, Texas, at the location that would exonerate him as the shooter. Luna stated, I would actually tell the American people it was made aware to me this evening that NBC actually has a video that's never been seen before. We're actually going to be sending a letter requesting that from NBC because it allegedly shows Oswald near the vehicle when the assassination took place, which means that he couldn't have been the shooter. So again, we're tracking down all this information. This revelation, she argued, challenges a long-held gunman theory pushed by many official narratives. Luna also refers to a CIA document brought to light by journalist Jeffrey Morley, which disclosed the agency itself was skeptical of the lone gunman theory. There's even a CIA document that came out that Mr. Mallory pointed out that actually said that the CIA never bought the lone gunman theory, Luna said. I think the American people had an inclination as to what we were saying, but we never had the hard evidence until now. And Trump did release the JFK files earlier this month, and Luna emphasized in a free and fair society, how could you operate or have an agency operating in the shadows? Kudos to President Trump. Also, director John Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard for pushing this transparency. It is going to be a generational changing as they've done this. Luna pledged to pursue legislation to ensure such opaque, clear shit from the government agencies never occurs again. Meanwhile, her immediate focus is on pressuring NBC to release the video. Fox News host Jesse Waters pressed for clarification, bluntly asking if NBC had been deliberately hiding this tape. Luna didn't hold back. Correct. In fact, director Oliver Stone actually told us that he was showed this tape, that it was a secondary copy. So let's just watch what she has to say.
I would like to actually tell the American people it was made aware to me this evening that NBC actually has a video that's never been seen before. We're actually going to be sending a letter requesting that from NBC because it allegedly shows Oswald near the vehicle when the assassination took place, which means that he couldn't have been the shooter. So again, we're tracking down all this information. But look, there's even a CIA document that came out that Mr. Morley pointed out that actually said that the CIA never bought the lone gunman theory. And so I think the American people had an inclination as to what we were saying, but we never had the hard evidence until now. And so it's important to note that in a free and fair society, how could you operate or have an agency operating in the shadows? And so kudos to President Trump, also Director Radcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard for pushing for this transparency. It is going to be generational changing that they've done this. And we hope to bring forward legislation to ensure that this never happens again for future generations to come.
You're saying NBC has been keeping this tape of Oswald under wraps?
I don't know. I mean, see, I would have to see it to agree to it. I would have to see this whole thing to know that this was true or not, but that's interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Correct. In fact, Director Stone actually told us that he was showed this tape, that it was a secondary copy, and that he said that this could blow open the entire JFK investigation. What I will also tell you, though, Jesse, is he said that NBC's been very, very much so guarding this tape. And so I believe that that tape belongs to the American people. We are going to be sending a letter asking for that tape. And I would encourage everyone to ask NBC to release that tape to the public. It's important, not just for our investigations, but so the American people know the truth as to what happened with John F. Kennedy.
All right. Well, I think they will release it because I believe the president will probably put it on Truth Social pretty soon. All right.
That's a big possibility. You never know what the president's going to do. If true, these revelations could reignite debate over the JFK assassination. If the alleged tape proves as explosive as claimed, it could redefine what Americans thought they knew about November 2nd, 1963. Does this tape really exist? And does it show what Luna says it does? Color me unconvinced. It's clear that Luna hasn't seen this evidence yet, and I won't be convinced until I see it. And I'm with you, Matt Margolis. I would have to say the exact same thing. That until I see it, it's going to be hard for me to believe. But believe this, it's official. USAID shutting down Democrats are the hardest hit. Patriots rejoice. USAID, that all-purpose piggy bank for far-left ideologues and jihad terrorists. The world is over and now in its final days, and not a moment too soon. USAID has rightly been Exhibit A in Doge's contention that the federal government has been wasting staggering amounts of money for years. And it is a massive victory for the Trump administration that this sinister agency, which has also been actively funding America's enemies, is on its way to the dustbin of history. The New York Post reported that Trump's State Department formally announced Friday it is closing the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, after the Trump administration prevailed in a federal court case challenging the Elon Musk-led Department of Government Efficiencies, DOGE, the cost-cutting actions at last. Some sanity from the courts. We can all be grateful that the Trump-hating Judge Boasberg didn't get assigned this one on top of all the other Stop Trump cases he has randomly been given. Secretary of State Marco Rubio explained foreign assistance done right can advance our national interests, protect our borders, and strengthen our partnerships with key allies. Unfortunately, USAID strayed away from this original mission long ago. As a result, the gains were too few and the costs were too high. You can say that again, Marco. The State Department's U.S. Office of Palestinian Affairs proudly announced in November 2024 that the United States agency, USAID, is providing $230 million in additional funding to support economic recovery and development programs in the West Bank and Gaza. This was on top of the jaw-dropping amount of money USAID had already ponied up since 2021. USAID / West Bank and Gaza has invested over $600 million in economic support funding of the Palestinian people, in addition to the over $2.1 billion with a B, in humanitarian assistance since October of 2023. Yes, over $2 billion to the Palestinians after Hamas deleted 1,200 Israelis. And despite the fact that Hamas stole massive amounts of this humanitarian aid and used it to pay its terrorists, that wasn't even close to all. USAID has also sent mad stacks of humanitarian aid to other haters of America, most notably the Taliban. All in all, USAID sent no less than $18.5 billion to Islamic terror-supported states in the last few years, including $2.7 billion to Yemen, from which the Houthis menace America's shipping, $660 million to Pakistan, which hid Osama bin Laden for years and is still home to innumerable terrorists. $700 million to Iraq was essentially a puppet state of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and no less than $3.4 billion to Assad, Syria. A much higher profile Iranian client, $1.1 billion went to Lebanon while it was under the control of Hezbollah. Then there were the comically absurd and or money laundering side of USAID. The Post noted that the House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Brian Mast, Republican from Florida, had called out several USAID grants last month, including $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, and $32,000 for the production of Peruvian transgender comic book. Well, those days are gone. Forever, we hope, Rubio said, thanks to President Trump. This misguided and fiscally irresponsible era is now over. We're reorienting our foreign assistance programs to align directly with what's best for the United States and our citizens. Yet with the many tentacles of the deep state, no one can never be sure. Rubio left the door open for more money, U.S. taxpayers' money flowing out in the near future. We're continuing essential life-saving programs and making strategic investments that strengthen our partners and our own country. Yet, this is yet another promise made and delivered to the American people, at least during the Trump administration. However, whatever money is being dispersed elsewhere is likely to be spent more wisely and with America First principles in mind. Meanwhile, the left, of course, is howling. The New York Times, of all people, admitted why, apparently inadvertently, a puff piece about AOC a few days ago. Democrats find their legal and fundraising institutions under attack from the Trump administration. There it is. You thought Doge was just cutting government waste? Right. But the government waste has been funding the left. Circuit Judge Roger Gregory sounded the doomsday alarm, lamenting over USAID. We may never know how many lives will be lost or cut short by the defendant's decision to abruptly cancel billions of dollars in congressionally appropriated foreign aid. We may never know the lasting effect of Democrats' actions on our national aspirations and goals. We may never know how many leftists will not get a chance to amass a personal fortune, or how many jihad terrorists have to go without a brand new AK-47 because USAID will be no more. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Oh my, oh my. Well, I think it's about that time just to give you guys just a quick brief bio break. I want you guys to take it with a little bit of order in mind, and we'll be back for just a little bit more. See you in just a couple. Here we go.
Shizzy, when it's chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dawn night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screams, to inside jokes and endless memes. We talk and Shizzy, when it's chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screens, to inside jokes and endless memes. In Shizzy, when it's chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dawn night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screens, to inside jokes and endless memes. We type our hearts, we spam the love. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream.
Oh yeah, you know, it's that time whenever you start seeing the hotties on the screen. Well, let's see what this one has to say.
Friendly reminder to all the men in the world who think that being ripped is hot. It's
not okay. Girlies like the dad bods. I don't know if that's true. I don't believe her for a second.
not, okay? Girlies like the dad bods, okay? Pudge is in.
Do you believe her? I don't know, but I mean, if she says it, I guess we could believe it. I mean, I've never thought about it that way, but okay. I'd like to hear more, but that could be interesting. If ladies, you feel that the dad bods are in, well, okay. But I don't know. But how about we hear this one from NPR? Because this one's got to be very interesting. What NPR has to say. Check this out.
But one of the most significant differences, critical for moving from polarization to productivity, is that the Wikipedians who write these articles aren't actually focused on finding the truth. They're working for something that's a little bit more attainable, which is the best of what we can know right now.
Okay.
And after 7 years there, I actually believe that they're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start.
Huh? I mean, I would think seeking the truth is one of the best places to start. I mean, that would be my goal.
In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is
So you want the lie? Like NPR, I'm assuming.
preventing us from finding consensus and getting.
But the truth would be consensus. You silly dimwit.
Important things done. But one of the
Yeah, she's an idiot. Straight up idiot. I mean, you're kidding, right? I need to show you guys this though, because you know you got to have your regular rants of people that are feeling crazy, We're about to meet one of those crazy people. Here we go. Crazy person alert. Crazy person. Here we
I don't
go.
know what he's doing now. Here he comes. I've got him on
Oh look!
video.
Look! Oh, look at that!
It's a golfing community. It's not a fishing community. You need to leave right now.
Well, I come up here all the time.
You need to leave. I know. I've caught you out here several times. I need you to leave right now, sir.
Well, hold on a minute.
Sir,
I'm trying to get
look, this is what I find out.
Hold on a minute. I'm trying to bring this air fish in. I don't know what your problem is. Hold on. I'll have a conversation with you.
Here. This is what I find out here.
What
You know
is
what
that?
this is?
I see that looks like someone's fishing line. Well, if you find it out there, why are you leaving it there? Why don't you just pick it up and take and dispose of it?
This is your fishing line.
Now that's an accusation that he can't prove is true. Did he see the guy lose it? Did he see the guy drop it? Oh no. He's gonna get all upset.
This is your fishing line.
I don't waste my line like that.
Who's that? I never see any.
What is up with the shorts, man? What's up with the clothes?
Anybody else out here but you.
Man, if I was this old guy, I'd sling that thing back just a little bit and give it a little whip. Just saying.
Not true, sir. Let me ask you a question. You ever heard of Sunday Fun Day?
Sunday? It's not even Sunday, sir. I need you to leave.
I'm with the old guy. Say, did you ever heard of Sunday Fun Day?
Right now. I've already warned you several times. The cops have been called on you, and you continue to come out here.
Okay, well, let me.
Well, okay. Well, still, you shouldn't be yelling at me. I just see him, standing there. He went and got the tattoos because he thought it'd be all nice and cool. He's got the hipster beard, and he stands there just stiff as a board. I'm so angry. You should be on my golfing community. It just disturbs me.
Let me try to get the fish.
Stop videoing me right now.
No. Now, see, now your face is on blast because she doesn't have to stop videoing you. It's a public area. And you're verbally assaulting somebody.
Now, you better stop videoing me.
At a woman. Getting up at a woman's face. He has a little bit of that Charlie Manson look about him. Just saying.
Buddy. Hey, buddy.
Leave. Okay, let me see what happened to this cat right here.
Buddy.
The last one. I got a long walk.
I'm just seeing cross his arms. He goes, I got a long walk.
You're pissing me off. I said leave right now.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. You got to remember, you got control over your own actions, not somebody else's actions. So take control over your own actions and relax. Take a chill pill, brother. Chill, relax.
Stop videoing me. I told you.
Well, there you go. You look psycho, man.
Leave. All right, honey, let's go. We gotta go. Take your line with you. Take your line with you.
Yeah, don't get your hands off of him. You see, putting your hands on him now, that right there, that's going to get you in trouble.
And leave.
Oh, no. That right there, son. Just so you know, that right there would be assault. And that on top of that, this guy could press charges against you for assault, and this would be a felony because I don't think this guy is younger than 65. Not a good idea. You shouldn't be touching him. Get right there. Hand on the man. Gotta get your hands off of him.
Sir, leave.
Oh my gosh.
Get the phone off of my face.
Oh my gosh.
Just hit her.
Damn.
He runs like a little girl. Oh, see, I told you. Watch this. Watch his run. Watch his run. Here he goes. He runs like a little girl.
My face. Oh my God. Damn.
Oh man, chat. That guy right there. Committing all kinds of egregious things. All kinds of egregious actions. You shouldn't be doing that. Nope, and nope. That would be a bad thing to do. That's not how you do things. That's not how you should do things at all. Just no. I got one for you. This is how he should have handled it. This is how he should have handled it right here. I'm sorry. That should have been the one that he did right there. Just right to the face. Enjoy and off. No. Just no. You don't do this to people. You don't go up and start jumping at them and start calling them horrible things. You don't get up in their face like that. You're going to end up getting in trouble for assault. If somebody's out there, you just call the police on them, move on with your day. Just move on with your day. Leave people alone. Let them do what they're going to do and don't harass them. Oh, so aggravating. So aggravating that people want to do this kind of stuff. I don't quite get it. You just shouldn't. You should. No matter what, that right there will just get you in all kinds of trouble. Should get you in all kinds of trouble. And let me explain why. It'll show up in this next one right here. This next story, also by PJ Media, is this one right here. Tesla vandals really are the dumbest criminals around. The radical left has a pathological hatred for Elon Musk for having the audacity to want to clean up waste and fraud in the government. By now, you've heard about how these unhinged leftists have taken their hatred of Elon Musk to a criminal level. By firebombing Tesla dealerships, vandalizing Tesla vehicles they happen to come across in public, and these vandals are learning the hard way that attacking vehicles equipped with the 360-degree surveillance camera as well isn't exactly a genius move. Take the brilliant mastermind at a New Hampshire luxury hotel who thought it would be a good idea to key a Tesla Cybertruck wearing a bright orange pants because why not to be inconspicuous? This genius was caught on camera vandalizing the vehicle within an hour of its arrival. When confronted by police, he denied it. I guess that brave social justice warrior suddenly couldn't find the courage to defend his principled stand against Musk. Yeah. So this guy pulls up, and of course, here he goes. You know, this guy right here. Here he is. Whips out his key, looking around, going to say, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Yeah. Yeah, that guy right there. Or these idiots.
You don't know what happened? No.
Yeah. No, has no idea.
Yeah.
There he is. Same guy. Skrrr, right down the side.
No. I don't know what happened. You didn't see that Tesla? No. Okay. Well, we have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't want to stand up to him. And then here's an example from Dolestown, Pennsylvania, where a witnessed peak criminal stupidity when a Planet Fitness member decided to leave his mark on a Tesla. Yeah. Comes sneaking out, thinking he's being all slick, grabs his key, runs it down the side, scratch, scratch, scratch. Well, according to a local news report, after keying the Tesla, this Einstein scanned his gym membership card immediately after committing the crime. Talk about making law enforcement's job easily. The officials were able to identify the suspect by his gym membership card and his Pennsylvania driver's license photo. There's sadly so many more examples of similar incidents like this one of a woman, I think, not only keying a Tesla, but recording herself doing it.
By glances over at the car, and moments later, they return and quickly start keying the passenger door with a phone in the other hand.
You can tell in the video, too, like they're actively starting to record and they're recording the whole thing. You can easily tell this is a targeted, like there's intent there. And they, you know, kind of a mockery of it, right? With all the recording.
Seconds later, the vandal runs off. The owners, who asked to remain anonymous, notice the damage about a half hour later and say since then they have felt unsettled and somewhat fearful.
Yeah, that's the point of these people. Or this man in San Jose who's been reportedly arrested. There he goes. Why? Why would you do this? See, I don't understand this level of evilness that people have. The amount that they find of damage that they just enjoy doing. Like, if you want to key something, why not go key your own car? Oh, because you want it to look nice and you can't even put the centers of your hubcaps back in? Yeah, look at this guy. He just hops out, got his little USA jacket on, and he goes, Ah, look at you. I got my key out. I'll tell you what, I'll just go right over here, looking around. Nobody sees me. Nobody sees me. Guess what? I ain't going to tolerate this. Look, why are you parked here? I should be able to park here. And oh, yeah, buddy. Well, the following videos of a road rage incident where a man screams at the driver of a Cybertruck while driving. He makes it look as if he's pulling a pew-pew out on him at various points of the video. The license plate of the unhinged driver is clearly visible. So there he is. You know, he's got his Lexus pulling up next to him. This guy's just driving, getting right next to him. Yep, there's his little license plate. Pulling in close, trying to ram into him, yelling at him, screaming, losing his ever-loving mind. It's like, I'm more privileged than you. You don't belong here. Yeah, that right there isn't good. Yeah, doing that kind of crap right there. Jesus, man. That's some serious road rage. You realize that Tesla will blow your doors off. But this guy's just trying to avoid you altogether. And here you go, just chasing after him. What is wrong with these people? I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. Why you're so angry at somebody that you have to threaten with a pew-pew. And from what I can tell, most of the videos that have been shared on X have resulted in positive identifications and subsequent arrests. I wonder if these vandals think it was worth it. These incidents perfectly illustrate how the left's blind hatred of Musk has short-circuited its already questionable judgment. They're so consumed with rage over the efforts to expose government waste and his success with Doge that they're willing to risk criminal charges just to scratch up a car, all while being recorded from multiple angles. And the irony is delicious. These anti-technology warriors are being brought to justice by the very technology they're trying to destroy. Tesla's comprehensive camera systems are making it virtually impossible for these vandals to escape consequences for their actions. And as these incidents continue to pile up, one thing becomes crystal clear. The only thing dumber than vandalizing a Tesla is doing it while you're thinking you won't get caught. But hey, nobody ever accused the radical left of thinking these things through. Very, very true. Very, very, very true. And you'll see that it's not just that particular person or that particular vehicle. It's other people like this person from the Daily Mail. I mean, she's got her tongue sticking out, thinking she's got some sort of self-righteous thing here going on. And as you're about to see, this gets a little heated. Language is advised. If you've got kids in the neighborhood, keep them away for just a minute because this is about to get crazy.
But if she hits that window, there she goes again. I don't know, but she's crazy. She's broke her tooth.
She just broke a tooth after a fit of road rage.
Yep. No, now she's hitting him with her elbow. Is somebody going to come over here? If not, I'm going to get out and take care of this.
This woman pulled out a knife on two motorists because she didn't like how close they got to her mom's car in the parking lot.
As you can see, she's got a knife in her hand.
Box that vehicle.
Look at that. Look at that. I don't know, the one by Chipotle.
Red Robin.
Red Robin, all that stuff.
She's
Yeah, now
assaulting.
she's kicking the car, and because if she comes up here and busts my window, I'm going to punch her in the fucking head. Now she's stabbing the car with the 905 something. She's standing right here still. She just broke her tooth, smashed into the window of the car.
There's Mom.
She's medium. Yeah.
Don't talk to him.
What?
Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him.
What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? What are you talking about? Are you psycho? We were backing out the parking.
Oh.
Never honked.
She's psycho.
Yeah, this is unhinged behavior that shouldn't be allowed.
I don't know what
Lose
she's
your
on.
mind.
Some kind of pills. I don't know what's going on, but she's crazy as hell.
Crazy.
We were backing out. There was plenty of room for us to get out. You know, we ate in the restaurant. That's all it was. Now she's going to take off. I don't know. She's right here. She's
She didn't get away with her actions, however, and was swiftly arrested.
But if she hits my window, there she goes again.
I mean, imagine being that unhinged. Just imagine being that unhinged. There are crazy people out there in the world. Very crazy people. And you have to be cautious of all of them. And, you know, having people like that, you just have to guard yourself and be very protective of yourself. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. A happy morning. I'm hoping to have another live stream tomorrow morning, but if I'm not able to, just know that I am thinking about you and I will be back most definitely on Wednesday evening at some point. Hopefully Wednesday evening, depends on how crazy things are. I'm going to be out of town for a few days, so do enjoy this. Make sure that you hit the like and you subscribe, and I will be seeing you guys hopefully very soon before Thursday, because Thursday is going to be wild. And make sure that you check out the other videos that I've got coming up. They'll be coming out on hopefully a daily basis. I got a few things I've been covering, and enjoy. Have a good time with your day, and good morning to all of you. Good evening, good night, whatever it might be, wherever you're at. Thank you, and see you guys very soon. Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.